I'm Margaret Livingston, and this is So Simple Now, the show that takes you from homemade to custom made. Balenciaga learned his sewing methods from his mother, who was a dressmaker in Spain. You can see his Spanish influence throughout his career. He was known as an architectural designer, and what I mean by that is that he was not dependent on the body for the shape of his clothes. He felt free to ignore or play up any part of the body. He did this with stiff fabrics, linings, crinolines, and interfacings. Balenciaga designed for very rich women. They went to expensive parties that were in the 50s and other eras too, but primarily then. And this was a world that most people knew nothing about. They would see these society people in the magazines and dream about what it was like, what it must have been like to be there. He used undulating hems, sometimes higher in the front than in the back, and he might use a contrasting fabric to show up when you saw that from the front. I also used other details that would show this beautiful underside of this fabric. The designs up until then had followed the body more, and this was a way that he could flatter an older woman who was his primary client, usually very established women from the post-war world. So what can we take from Balenciaga? After all, he lived in a world that barely exists. It's something that we don't have access to at all. We can barely imagine his world. But there are a number of things that we can take from him. His beautiful collar set away from the neck is a beautiful design that you can use. The undulating hemline is something that you could easily do for a formal occasion that you want to go to. There's no reason you can't use a contrasting fabric on the underside of an undulating hem. There's no reason you have to use expensive fabrics. There's many fabrics that can look beautiful and imitate some of the ones that he used, but you don't, instead of velvet, you might want to use velveteen, something like that. There's many laces that you can get that will be beautiful, even though they're not terribly expensive. You can use many things. These designers are there with their ideas in books and magazines that you can take from them. The people on Project Runway are usually given very little money to do their things, and some of them come up with beautiful, gorgeous things. They're inspired by Balenciaga and other designers that've gone before, and there's no reason you can't do the same. In today's episode, I introduced Balenciaga and some of the methods that he used in his designs. In coming episodes, I will show you other designers who you can use in your sewing. Thank you for watching So Simple Now. I'm Margaret Livingston, and see you next time.